Hey y'all. So this is Bob Lindy from the Tradition School of Herbal Studies, and I was trying to do a live feed on YouTube or Facebook, and I failed. So I figured I'd go ahead and do a recording of anything interesting I found. And this is actually one that I've never, and I'm going to do a couple of shots there, I don't think I've ever done a video on. So this is our Florida species of Plantago, or Plantain as it's commonly known. It has a short season here. It's not the only species here, but this is just such a good example of it. And this flower stalk definitely is quite distinct. And here by this little creek side, it's a little hard to get out. So there we go. So you can always tell by these very distinct flower and seed stalks that grow off of this. There are a number of different types of Plantagos. So we look for the seed stalk, and we also look for, there we go. Let's look on the underside. There we go. There's parallel veins. Boy, hopefully we can focus. There's parallel veins. And if you look, maybe we can do it from the side. There's little hairs all over this little booger. So we'll see if you can spot those. Those are the most distinct characteristics. For those of you up north, you see the broadleaf plantain or Plantago major. So when I say plantain, I don't mean the cool starchy banana, but this weed that really grows everywhere. It is also a Chinese herb. It's Cheqianzi is the more common, the seed of the plantain the Chinese use as a diuretic. Also, the Chinese use the leaf. It's just talked about less. It's Cheqian Sao, C-A-O. So C-H-E-Q-I-A-N. Either the last word is Z-I for seed, or CAO if you're using the leaf. So this is what's known as a pot herb, i.e. you can eat it up yum, cook it in a pot. You can make a tea out of it. It's a little bitter, but not too bad. And how long you steep it for will determine how bitter, because there are tannins in it. So it's always interesting because some people talk about its moistening, nourishing properties, and some people talk about its astringing or tightening up of tissues. And both are true. It's literally whether we extract the tannins or not, which are very tightening to the tissues. Some of you may have heard of psyllium husk that you find in the store to increase fiber, and that's actually a Plantago as well. That's the seed husks of Plantago psyllium. So it really is everywhere in our system. I like it as a topical herb as well as internal. We specifically use this for non-healing wounds. This is one of my more common plants to use for either like pressure ulcers or non-healing wounds like diabetic wounds and things like that. I usually combine this with, if I'm doing straight Western, I might add calendula to the mix, but plantain is my chief herb there, my number one herb. I usually mix a mix of Chinese and Western, so I'll use the Plantago leaf. I'll use astragalus, huang qi, and Angelica dongguai. Those, and then I'll usually add a little bit of frankincense or myrrh, usually frankincense, rushang. That's also known for generating flesh. Nice aromatic, and it's really helpful. That combination, I've had ridiculous success of packing wounds. You can mix it with topical antibiotic cream if you're worried about infection, but I've had nothing but good results. Also in Western herbal medicine, we'll make a fresh topical poultice and then seal it with a leaf or saran wrap or something like that for pulling out embedded things. So if you got a splinter or some sand or something from falling off a bike or a motorcycle or something, it can be used to pull things out. So plantain or Plantago spa, it can be eaten. It's great medicine for generating flesh to heal non-healing wounds, for pulling things out, for puncture wounds, and so forth. It's antimicrobial, has an affinity for the lungs and the skin. The dosage is yes. and find the species, because there's usually more than one that grow in your community. Look for the distinct seed and flower stalk, the parallel veins, and kind of hairy leaves on there. And it can be anywhere from dry, sandy areas in full sun to here we've got a marshy area, is kind of a old canal here, a little creek bed. And so here in Florida, there's at least 3 species that I found growing. Not all of them are native, but a great one to use fresh or dried. If you're in Florida, this one is one that has a shorter season. So we'll see this maybe for another 2 months, and then it's gone. This is Bob Lindy from the Tradition School of Herbal Studies. If you're catching this today, join us on our Facebook Live open forum. It's the last Friday of every month, and you can check us out on the YouTube page and see the last few years of open forums that we've done. And at the very least, go find some of this and have a nibble. Thanks. Bye.